Afternoon, everyone. I'm on early, so stop. But don't worry. Don't worry. I'm on early. Just wanna get things sorted. And I'll make sure my mat is straight. If you're on, maybe focusing it around. There we go. That's better. So I'm a bit early, everyone, but I won't start until just after. Just get my light on here somewhere so you can see that. A bit more light on the subject. Just move it around just so it adds a bit of light. So if anybody is on, if you just type in hello, send me a message so that I know who's with me. So I'm going to try and keep this mat exactly in the centre of this green mat today, and then we'll stay right in focus and stay everywhere as well. Hi Deborah, how are you? I'm going to move that a little bit more so it's, we've got a light but it's not on the mat. How is everyone today? If you were watching, if you can just type in hello and send me a message in the comment box, that'd be lovely. I'm a bit early at the moment, but just wanted to show you some cards. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd be okay today, Deborah, whether you'd remember. That's why I posted on my Facebook and shared it. Hi Gaina, hi Maria Crook. How are you all? On this lovely, fine, glorious day again. So, got a few cards here that I've done. So it's all about doing an aperture with dies, placing an image in, and then if you've got alphabet dies or alphabet stamps, then you can do sort of the letter in and then add a little bit of sentiment. This is using backing papers. I'm also going to show you how to colour using your inks and also using some alcohol pens as well. So the main sort of things that I want people to have, what's the time? Right, so it is 1 o'clock at the moment, so we'll give another minute or two for everybody to come in. But where is everybody messaging us from? I know Deborah's from down towards Pontyville, Poole, Newbridge. Hiya Gavin. Gaina's from Rumney Merthyr way. So I'm going to show you what stamps I use for these two cards, but I'm going to be using a different one today. So for the little one there, I actually used an old Sentimentally Yours ones that came with, I think it was the Crafters Creative Stamping magazine. This is an old magazine, so we haven't got any of that left, so that's a lovely one. And I just used the little boy on the sleigh, I've used the little trees, I've used this little fence with this as well, and then on around the edge here I've actually used this big thing here. Okay, and then this is the only set of alphabet stamps. Hiya Mum, how are you? Hiya Sarah. So, and then I used some alphabet stamps which I had on this magazine, which is another old magazine, but we are looking to get dies in as well, which are sort of a little bit bigger than that, or about the same size as well. Okay, so we are looking to get them as well, but this is the two sets I've used on this one. I've used the same alphabet on that one, but I'll show you this stamp I've used on that one, and then we can look at maybe. So I actually used an old birdie one, and this is the wren I used. Sorry, this is the wren that I used on this one. I used a fine line pen to do the fencing and the birds, and I've used a little cutout stencil that I've used for making the clouds. And then this little pattern around the O there is actually this little stamp here. So I'm going to show you how to do sort of things like that as well. Hiya Alison, hiya Valerie, hiya Mum, just in case you didn't hear me. Okay, so, but today I'm going to be using a different stamp. And I'm actually going to be using this one, which was one we've had for a while, and then I'm not sure if we've got any of these left, but we've been using this quite a bit lately. I'm going to use the house there, and I'm going to make this a new home card. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Okay. Hi Bev, how are you? Well, it's Gavin's mum and my second mum. And then I got a third mum then, which I call Delia. Hi Sarah. How are you, Sarah Ray? Hi Sarah as well. I've got Sarah and Sarah on today. So, a couple of things we need to have. We need to have an A4 piece of white card to make the base card, or if you've got a 6x6 card or an already C5 folded card like that, A4 folding off, then you need one of them. Okay, so we're going to make a start now. Okay, so I'll just put them to the side, and I'm going to get my 300-gram piece of white card and a scoreboard. You can use any scoreboard. We tend to do more the purple ones at the moment, which are Crafters Companion, and they've just got a longer body to them, and we do the smaller version as well. And all the way to the left and score at 15. And then, because the score is pushing down, I lift that centre bit upwards, and then I know that I'm going to get a nice coating on that. And if you really want to straighten it out, then you can just use the tool to flatten it out. And that's my card base, so I'm going to pop that to the side. So that is the scoring done. So it's just an A5 card, and these cards fit usually into the C5 envelopes. So if anybody was asking, I know Sarah I think asked the other day about that. Okay, and then we also need a piece of white card. Now this could be a little scrap of white card, okay, doesn't matter, and that piece is going to be for your image, whether it's within an oval or whether it's within a circle. Hiya Dawn, hi Carolyn, how are you? Hope you're all okay today. So we've got some regulars, and I think we've got a few little new ones here as well, so I hope you enjoy. So one thing we need to choose is whether we're using circles or whether we're using ovals. So I'll give you sort of measurement dies that I've used. So for the, I'll just push them to the side. For the ovals, this is literally the tonic one, but I am going to be invested in the Crafts 2 ones because I do like that they're very, very close to each other. And My ruler has done a little vanishing act again. I did put it to your safe the other day, now it's gone walkie-bounce. Ah, I got him. Right. The white base card is 300 gram, which we folded, Sarah. So that was 300 gram. Because we're going to be die cutting this and then stamping and colouring on it, for cutting the die bit out, we're actually going to be you can use your 200 or 250. I tend to use 250 gram because it just gives that a little bit of extra body. Okay, and so as you can see, I've got a little scallop edge and a little flat edge. These all come in the same one with Tonic, but when I invest in the Crafts 2 ones, which is the ones we tend to get in a lot now, I'll have all straight edge ones, and the increments all the same, really, really tight, like these together. Okay, so we need 3 dies altogether. We need 2 for a frame and 1 that is just under the outer edge one, so it's just in. So I'll give you the size of that frame one. So about 9.5 to 10 centimeters wide on the oval, and sort of no taller than 12 centimeters for the largest one, and then about a 9.5 centimeter tall in the oval one to do your frame. And then as long as you get one that's in between, that's the one we're going to be cutting out to the white. Okay, now if you wanted to use circles, I would use, so as you can see, I've got lots of circle ones. These are the Crafts 2, so it goes much bigger, up to about 8 by 8. And the dies I'm going to use for this are that one, which is, I'm going to do sizes again, 10.5, so there'll be 10.5 normally. I'm taking the one that was right next to it, and then I'm going to miss one and go for the next one. So just take the one that's 10.5, the one underneath it, miss one and take the next one. Hi Peter, how are you? You okay? So literally, yeah, so the oval one that I'm cutting is actually about 11, and the one I'm cutting out of the white in the circle is probably about, well, between 9.5 and 10. So this is up to you, but you can cut the both of them if you're not sure which one you want to use, or you can do that. So that's up to you. Okay, so that's sort of the sizes you want. But I think for home, I think I'm going to use the circle one. I'm just going to check my house will fit into that one, and it will, and I'm actually going to put it off to the side a little bit as well, so that will be absolutely fine. So I'm going to go with that. Okay, so I'm going to go with the circle, and so I'm not wasting any of the card, I'm going to put it as close to the corner as I can. And just cut roughly around it with the scissors, like that. Okay, and then I've got bits there then to use later. And I'm going to die cut this. So this was the one down from the biggest that I had. So that was the biggest. That was the smallest one I wanted to use for my frame. And then this one was just underneath the largest one there. Okay, and it was about 10.5 centimeters. And I'm going to pop that into my Gemini. And I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to put a little bit of tape just to hold it there. And I'm going to pop that through my machine. So we'll do a little bit of a noise. That's Jessica going through the Gemini machine. And that's the Gemini Junior. Okay, I'm going to put that over, and that is now my white piece. So I'm just going to peel off gently, and that's my white piece for my image. Okay, and then while we got the die machine here, so I've finished with the middle size one of them. But while we're here, we're going to sort out our frame as well. Okay, so our circular frame, because I'm using the circle, I'm going to use the circular frame. And just got you about the groovy plate. I'm all ready. Hiya Dorian, how are you as well? Are you okay? So what I'm going to do now, I've chosen a nice piece of mirror card, and it's a lovely, and I think it's a matte mirror, so it's a matte mirror card. So I've used gold on this one, I've used silver on this one, and I'm going to use this colour on this one. And you need to find a backing paper that's going to go with it, but one that's not overly too bright, because we need to stamp the letters onto it and a little sentiment. Okay, so you don't want it to be too bright. So I've got, so just flick through your papers and find a nice little paper. It could be one that came with a magazine. I think I'm going to use, I could use the leaf one, or I could use that one. Should I use the leaf one or the stripe one? Hi Angela, how are you? So literally, I think I'll go for the stripe, because I haven't used the stripe one in any of my cards yet. So literally, if you wanted to join in, Angela, I know you're a bit late coming in. An A4 folded, scored at 15, and then folded in half. And then I've taken 3 dies. Largest one, 10.5 centimeters. Then I've taken the next one down for cutting out of my white, which I've already done. And I've taken the next one down then, and I'm going to cut them two out of my mirror card, which is what I'm going to do now. So this is my mirror card, and I need to cut a piece to fit onto there as well. So first of all, you need a guillotine or a trimmer, and there's my guillotine. I'm going to pop it in landscape, and I always use centimeters, so I'm cutting this at 14.5 centimeters, and I love the sound of a guillotine, by 20.5. So that was 14.5 by 20.5, and that will fit onto the front of my card with a nice little matten layer, nice little white layer there. And then this little piece that I have left here, I know I'm going to cut a frame out of. So because I'm putting that through my Gemini, I just want to make sure that, because mirror card will mark when it goes through your machine, so if you just cut any little bits off like that, it means you could use that again because it hasn't been marked going through your machine. And that's a good little tip to think of. Just keep what you need there, and if you wanted to, you could even cut the other little bit off the side there, because these will always come for sentiments to be matte and layered. And then I'm going to cut that out of there. It is glorious weather, Angela, isn't it? So I'm having a break from the weather today. I was out there sunbathing yesterday while Gavin was digging the hole. And so that is that. So we fitted more of our garden fence yesterday. So with this frame, you can see it's thinner at the top and it's thicker at the bottom. So if you want to do that now, you can do that. But remember, you'd have to cut foam pads a lot thinner to go there. Or you can go dead center. And I think I'm going to go dead center this time. And I'm going to take some low tack tape and just place that over the top there and over the top there, just to hold it. And I'm going to put that through my Gemini as well. So I'm just getting my plates. So it's just your clear plate, cutting down onto that clear plate, and then it's just your smoky shim, your magnetic, and your other clear plate for the Gemini Junior. And that's with my Gemini Junior, it needs those plates. But check yours, because you may not want to use Maria Crook. What make guillotine do you have? The one I have is an X-cut one, but we do get the Crafter's Companion one in now, 12 shot, which is exactly the same. Really, it's I think the Crafter's Companion one have just got a built-in scoreboard to it as well, onto the surface of it, so you can score your cards as well. Hope that answers your question. There we are. And because I put that centre, I could even use that as a frame, and I'm not going to use that, so I'm going to put that back in my drawer as well with the rest of my little bits of mirror card. So now I have a frame, I have my base card, I have my matte layer for my base card, which I can actually put on. Oh. You can use your all-purpose Collall on this, but don't go too close to the edge. Same with any wet glue when you're using a mirror card as well, because you will see lines on it, so I always come away from the edge because I'm matte and layering this. Now I could have cut my frame out of there, out of the centre, not to have wasted that, but you know, if you want to be frugal, then you do that. Okay, and you can see there are little lines in here showing where the glue is, so you can see the wiggles and the lines around the edge, but I'm not going to see that because I'm putting a piece of backing paper on it. Okay, so with the backing paper, oh, there we are, Maria. Gavin has just put a link to the large guillotine for our website at the bottom there. So with my backing paper, obviously I want my stripes to go, do I want to go that way, I want to come that way. I think I'm going to have them go in a long ways that way. Okay, so what I want to do then, I want to put that in that way because that's the way I want that to go on the card, like that. I'm going to cut that to 14 centimeters. Again, if you've got any left over, just put it to the side, so you will get 2 of these out of the 12 by 12, and then turn it and cut that to 20 centimeters. I always work in centimeters, so when I do my matte and layers, it's always half a centimeter more or half a centimeter less. So that is that. I've got my nice little stripe now going through the bottom there, and I could turn it around, another stripe around the top, which I might do because I'm going to put a little sentiment down there. Or I might put, oh no, I put it at the top because I'm doing the home one. I'm going to put that up the top, the little sentiment, and I'm going to put H, O, M and E. Okay, so I need to fit that on. Now I'm going to use my all-purpose Collall on this. I'm still keeping away from the edge. Difference between all-purpose Collall and the tacky glue is the all-purpose Collall is alcohol based, and the tacky glue is will either be acrylic PVA or it'll be a water-based PVA. They normally are all water based. There's a few that isn't. Okay, so now I've got my nice little border there. So again, I used a nice brown one. So the brown one here came from the Phil Martin pads, which was Steel and Honey, which was out of that one. And then out of the blue one there with the Joy, I actually used it out of the Air Force and Mocha. So it was one of the lighter of the colour blues there. Okay, so that is that, and I've now finished with my cutting with my Gemini, so I'm going to turn that off. So everybody caught up if you're crafting along. So I've now cut the frame, and I've also cut the white one, which is just a little bit smaller than the outer cut edge of the circle there. And the reason being that is because once we put foam pad on the back of that, we can then fix it to that frame, and we know our image is going to be inside that frame. Okay, so that's my circle dies finished with, and now it's down to stamping. Okay, so I can move that out of the way. So I'm going to be using this house stamp here, and I don't think it's been used, so it might take a little bit of forcing to get that one off. And I think I'm actually going to use that little swirl as well. And in fact on this one you've actually got some little birds as well, so I can actually use the flock of birds. Okay, so I use the flock of birds, the little swirl, and I've got the house. And also I'm going to take that little sentiment off ready as well, which says Happy New Home. Obviously I'm going to be, that's a little bit different. So the first thing I need to do is sort out my house on my circle. I'm actually going to use my Press to Impress. Now we have got some of these back in stock again. They are a type of thing that comes in and goes out quite fast, but they are, I would say, one of the best on the market. I absolutely love them. I absolutely love the Press to Impress. So I'm just putting my magnets in there. Could push that to the side, but because I'm actually, in fact I'll do that. If you ever want to stamp off the edge and you know you're going to be like that, then just use this edge as your straight edge, and then you can put your stamp in down here. Oh, sorry about that. So I'm just putting my house just off the side, and I'll just have the house in my circle there. Okay, and I'm going to pick the stamp up like that. So you always put it, the rough side, down onto your paper, and then bring the lid over and push it down, and that picks it up from the back end of the stamp. And I'm going to use the alcohol proof die, which is, as it shows on the ink here, it's a Noir black, and it shows on here that it's for alcohol pens. Okay, so I'm then going to tap my ink on there, bring it over and stamp it. And the good thing with the Press to Impress, if I want it to be a little bit darker in places, I can ink that up again and bring it over and stamp that. And I think I'm quite happy with that. So again, that was the Finesse alcohol proof die, and that was Noir black. I know it does come in greys and browns as well. Okay, and to just clean that stamp, I just take a nice little spritzer bottle, and you can use an old tea towel, one that doesn't really pick up a lot of ink, or you can use a stamp cleaner. But my stamp cleaner is rather dirty now, so I need to put it under the tap and run some of the ink out of there. So that's why I'm using my towel, because it is leaving a bit of residue on my stamps now. Okay, and I'm going to take that one off. So that's the house sorted out. Okay, and then I'm going to take that off the Press to Impress, and that's my image there. Okay, then on the list, yes they are, I love mine too. Yes they are, I love mine too. The Press to Impress, yes they are fantastic. I gather that's what you're on about, Deborah, is the Press to Impress. They are fabulous, and I do think they are the best, for the prices anyway. Okay, so I've now got my image. Now I want to do something with this image to give me a little bit more, maybe greenery, scenes, sky, clouds and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, because I know I just want a little bit of a, I'm going to take just a scrap bit of paper, and this could be copy paper, and I'm just going to let it tear, and I've just torn it into sort of like a little mountain shape and stuff like that. And then on this piece, because I've got that curve going there already, I'm going to take a scissors and then do little cloud-like curves. But if you've got a stencil, because I know we did have stencils with this on, and I know Gavin has ordered more stencil stuff now. So, okay, so I've now cut little cloudy bits like that out of that piece. And you can just do that out of a scrap bit of piece of card. Yeah, they are very good, Julie. And hello. I didn't see you say hello earlier on if I missed you, so I hope you're okay. Okay, so that's that. Now, green and blue. So again, you can use any types of inks. Okay, you can use mementos, you can use your water reactive dyes, you can even use, I'm not sure if Gavin's got a blue in, no, he hasn't got a blue in the Harmony, but we have got some. So the opaque pigment, we've got 37 colours in, and they are brilliant because you can use them on dark colour cards as well, because it is a pigment. Okay, so they're brilliant, but I haven't actually got a blue in that one, so I think maybe that's might be Gavin's next embarkment on that stamp. Okay, so I want to use the green first. So I can either use the grasshopper, which is the opaque pigment, or I can use the dye based, and this could be a memento, it could be any dye based. And you can either use your distressing tools, which I think mine are in this drawer. So you can either use distressing tools like these, which I will use today because I know we've got some of these in stock, so I just want to show you that a lot of you will use brushes like that. A lot of you might use smoothies, okay, but I'm going to use the actual ink blending tools just to show that, you know, it's personal preference on what you want to use, okay. Gavin, you are a kid. Yeah, good. I'm unclear about alcohol and water-based products. Can they be mixed? Carol have said, I'm unclear about alcohol and water-based products. Can they be mixed? Not sure what I've got. Right, so The ink pads that have got like a little blending tool on it, which could be the water reactive. Could be a water reactive one that's got that little tool mark on it, which is a picture of one of them. That is dye based, so you can watercolour with these. You can watercolour with these ones, you can dab them on, you can blend them, you can mix the green with the blue, you can mix blue with a red, make purples, stuff like that on your mats. Same with the mementos, they are dye based as well, so they're water reactive like that one. The grasshopper, one which is no pigment, they are pigment based, and you can shift the colour around with these with water because they're not completely permanent. And then the other one we've got is the ones for pens. So if it's got a pen on it, it means that is for using your pen. So again, it's a dye based black. Okay, but a waterproof one then will have a watercolour brush on it. Okay, so that's the difference with what we've got. VersaFine is quite a mix of inks, so you can, as long as they're dry, you can use water over the top of them. But you know, you do have to make sure that they're dry, and the same with the alcohol pens. You can use it with that, but you'd have to use alcohol pen. So what I'm doing, I'm putting the end of my card now at the bottom of the house there, because I want to put, I'm loading my mat with green, I'm just tapping onto my mat, and then I'm actually putting the edge of it on to the waste paper and pushing it down. And if I want more colour, I can just go in. I can go down like that. So that starts giving me a little grassy mound. Okay, and I can still go down here as well and mix a bit into this little area down here. Not that a lot of that's going to be seen, so that's that bit. So I've got a little bit of a little thing here, and if I wanted to make it like there's a path coming to the door as well, I can even come off the edge that side a little bit more, and off the edge down there a little bit more. So you can build up your colours basically, so it actually looks like there's a little green path going to that door. Okay, but you can also add a mountain behind coming down to the house, so I'm just going to do that as well and just miss out the house. So this is how you do your scene building, so you know, and then you've got another little mountain there. Okay, so that is now my little mountain, and I want to do a sky now as well. Okay, so that's that. So I'm now going to take my blue, which again, water reactive, dye based. Water reactive and dye based are all the same. Okay, so I've got my green one, I've done my green, so I'll put that to the side. And even though there's green on here, I'm not too worried about that. And the way I like to use my cloudy one is by putting it so I'm pushing them up, so I'm pushing the colour up. And I'm going to start off with a dark blue first. And these ink blenders, they do come off. Okay, and you just replace it for each colour, so you aren't going to have 20 handles and 20 forms. You know, you can do that. And because these are Velcro, if you wanted to keep that with the ink, put a little bit of Velcro in the bottom there, and you can stick them in the bottom there as well. And in fact, they hold in quite well in them ones. Okay, so there we are. So I'm going to dab that down. I'm going to push upwards off my little stencil I've just made. So if you've got a cloud stencil, that's all I would do really. I'm not going to add any more ink to this. I'm just going to go down, just flicking off the edge, because I want the top cloud to be really, really dark, like it's right up in the sky. And then I want to bring some lighter clouds down. Ian, what is the blue you're using? The blue I'm using is Memento Danube blue, but you can use the ocean blue as well. And just to show you, you can swap around as well. I'm going to put a little cloud back in there. I'm going to use that one, take off the excess. And that's another different cloud. And even with that one, so that's a water reactive one. If you've got distress inks as well, you could even use a distress ink as well, okay? All distress inks are sort of, they're dye based, but they've got a slightly different formula into them. So I can even mix that colour. I can do a little bit of cloud down the bottom there as well. And that's a very, very pale one, that is. I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom. There we are. So now I've got a nice little who's got noisy birds? Have we got noisy birds? I am looking to do a video though about ink pads and showing what all ink pads are for, the differences between them and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm now going to take a little small acrylic block and I'm going to put my little bird stamps on there. So these are little birds flying in the sky. And I'm going to use, just to show you can mix and match all these, I'm taking a VersaFine now. And I'm going to put a load of birds just coming across the sky there. I'm not pushing too hard because they're a very fine one. But there's my little birds going across the sky. Okay. But if I wanted to add a little couple more over here, I'll just take a fine line pen that I know works, so just make sure it works before you go ahead. I just want to put the odd bird just around as well, so it doesn't look like they're all flying in from one area. Okay, and to do a bird, you literally just go, do a little curve, another little curve, and then if you want a little body, you just do that. Okay, so that's a load of birds now. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon when all the birds are starting to go off to their little areas in the graveyards to stay. Right, so that's my inks. So you, like I said, you can use any inks to do anything as long as they're sort of dye based to blend out. The only word you can't use is the stays on to blend out, because obviously they are alcohol based, so they won't work. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some alcohol pens. Yeah, it would be good if I am looking to do that video, and I will be doing it, and I will post it up on the site, on our YouTube and onto. So I'm just spritzing this match here because I had some ink when I actually did a bit of work on it from the sky, and if you didn't want to waste that ink, as a lot of people don't like to, just take a nice bit of scrap paper, just dab it on, and then you start getting sort of little colours on there, and you just put that to the side to dry, and then you can just keep adding and keep adding and keep adding to that little piece of paper every time you use your inks, and you'll end up with a lovely, lovely background then. And, okay, so I've now done that, but I need to colour my image. So I'm going to take a little bit of scrap to put under my piece of Super Smooth, because I don't want the alcohol pens to get on any of my mats, and I could take that mat away now because I've finished blending the inks. So we've actually got these in now in A3, and it's got a little hole there just to hang up in the corner. We had them in with our stencil stuff the other day, so that's back in the shop on the site. Okay, so what we're going to do now is colour this house in. So pens, there's numerous options of pens. You've got, some people may have tri-blend pens, which are absolutely fine. Some people may have a set of the Spectrum Noir Colorista pens, which was for all the colouring classes that we did a while back. You may have Pro Markers, you may have Spectrum Illustrators. We do the illustrators at the shop, and the tri-blend pens. So the tri-blend pens are a pen with 3 colours within a pen, and that's a light, a medium and a dark, and I know a lot of people have been buying them to build up their colours. So I am going to use my Pro Markers that I still have left, just to try and use them. So it doesn't matter what pens, and you can mix and match your pens as well. Okay, so I'm now going to take a nice, I think we'll have a nice blue door, because we got sort of a blue. If you're unsure about colours, take a bit of scrap, take your pen and have a look at the colour. So I think that's a lovely blue for the door. So I'm just going around. Colouring. I could just leave that like that. Okay, I'm going to leave that colour out though, so I can go back to it in a minute. And then I'm going to go with, I think that's a nice maple colour. I'm going to start using that on the brickwork. I'm going to randomly colour the brickwork. Okay, just add in little bricks. That one, and then I'm going to take another colour that will, ooh, look, so now I've got, see, so I'm going from all sorts of different pens. So I'm using Colorista, I'm using Pro Markers, I'm just using different sort of tones of oranges, browns and reds to get the different brickwork. Showing there. And now I'm going to go for a bit darker. Oh, look at that, that's better. Just add in a little bit of darker red in there. And this is burnt orange, so it is a dark orange. And any bricks that I've missed, now I'm just going in and adding those colours to that. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to go in with my lighter colour again, which was the maple, and just go quickly across all of that, and that will tone those colours down and blend all them in. So now I've got a nice little brickwork there. Okay. Right, so is there a link on today? Yeah. So the ink blending mats are on the link for today's live. So Gavin has just told me. So I'm looking for some browns now, because I need to do, so with the tiles on the roof, I'm going to put some shadow in along the bottom on that one side. And I'm going to take a lighter colour. go lightly across there, and then where they join just go over the edge just gently, and that will lighten that and blend them into each other, and we end up with a nice little blend there. And then we've got other little tiles across here. Just going to go up the side of that front there. Right there. And then go in with a lighter colour. Very, very lightly. Now I'm going to come down here with a lighter colour. I'm just going to come down these little edges because that's the other side of the roof. And then we've got some windowsills. So remember the blue I used on the door? Well, I want to put a bit of shadow in there. So now it's dried a bit. I can actually go in down the side of the door, underneath the window bit, and along the bottom. And because I'm going in there now, that'll actually get a little bit darker. But then I want to go in with a nice cool grey. This is a cool grey 4, so a nice dark grey will be nice. Go around that door, the window frame. Do the frame of the window. To be quite dark. Okay, so I just wanted to colour all that. Get yourself happy with what you've got. Another frame there, let's do that one. There's a little flower pot there. Again, if you want that to be a little bit more. You've got your path there, so you can even tap in. Use the tip of the pen or tap that in, we get a little path there as well. Okay. And then we have some bushes. So I'm going to do some bushes, so there's nice little greens. Not worrying about the edges too much here because it's going to be covered with some of the frame. That's a nice light green. And I'm going to go in with another green. So I'm just mixing in different types of greens. I'm just tapping in to make it textured. It looks more textured in for the greenery. And I'm going to go with a darker green as well. Nice forest green this. Dots in there as well. Just makes it look like more of a hedge really. Okay. So is everybody okay at the moment? And I think we're going to do that house in a nice light colour, I think. Oh, that's nice. So it says saffron, this colour. And that's the house. Saffron. That's a lovely colour house. So I'm quite happy with that. And then I can even go in when it dries and just go under the eaves. Make that a little bit darker, under the windows, just to make it a little bit darker. Just adds a little bit of shadow. So don't ever be afraid to use the same colour to add a little shadow. Under the eaves of the door and underneath the doorway bit there. There we are. And then let's put the lights on in the window. Leave a bit of white in them, and then it'll add a little. There we go. So that's that. Okay, so that's my little image there, but we'll add a little bit of shadow as well. Just looking for a nice light grey, cool grey 2. Yeah, so cool grey 2. Just going to add a nice shadow of the house. Actually looks like the house is in front and the sun is coming from behind. Well, that's a shadow there. There we go. Marvellous. So any of the wooden bits now I haven't touched, I'm just going to go around that. Okay, and the path, the step. There we are. So that's Pro Markers. Thank you, and got to go, phone needs charging. Okay, Maria, you can look back on this anyway, Maria, because it will be on here permanently, and it will be on YouTube as well, probably by the end of today. Okay, but thank you for joining us. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put all my Pro Markers away. What is that mat called? Ink blending mat. Sarah. So there we are. So I've now got my little image there. Okay. So I'm now going to turn my frame over. Okay. And I'm going to put some foam tape or foam pads on that. It's entirely up to you. You can take your foam pads if you want, as long as they're small enough to not stick out around the edges, then you can do that. Or you can use foam tape, it's entirely up to you. I got all sorts of little bits of foam. I got little bits of foam pads around which I've been cut in smaller areas. So I'm going to use them just to use them up. I'll show you something as well you can do just in case your foam pad does. So if you think your foam pad is going to be bigger than the actual frame itself, just stick them to the outer side more than the inner side, because then if anything is sticking out you can actually cut them off with the scissors. Okay. Now I'm just taking them off. Sorry, I'm working off the camera here. But as in every live, the one thing you don't want to do is struggle and then you end up struggling on a live. Should have used the proper foam pads with a little edgy like that, see? And I wouldn't have struggled then. Are they all off? No, I haven't got that one off yet. So how is everybody going today? Everybody okay? So as you can see, I got a few little bits now just sticking out over those edges. And that's all I'm going to do is just take my scissors and cut them off. Make sure it's a nice sharp scissors. And then clean your scissors as well. If there's a non-stick scissors would be good. I've got another little one there which is better for stickies. It's actually still sticky. But don't be afraid to use, you know. And then that goes around like that. There we go. and then we place that over your image like so. Okay, so we've now got that there ready. Okay, just clear this away to show you how to do everything else. Right, so now finished with my pens. Put them away while we wait. Why not do there? And then we've got a clear space to show you what to do next. Right. So when you're doing this card and you're doing that sort of shape, so you use Squeaky Squeaky, that's the little dog next door. He's got his little toy out. We were throwing the toy for him yesterday. I think they call him Mad Max. Okay, I'm actually going to pop that there for now. Okay, and bring it down a little bit, because what I want to then do is get my alphabet stamps. If you've got alphabet dies, then you can use them. Okay, and what I want to do is I got H. I'm actually going to use the line as well on there. I'm going to do H. O is the O, and then M, and then an E. And this is why you need to make sure you can get your letters in first. So this is why I did an A5 card, an A5 landscape card, more than a 6x6, because the 6x6 I would only have got one letter either side. But if I could have used an 8x8 card, I could have fitted that on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take my Press to Impress again. I'm going to take that off. Okay, I'm going to open my card and I'm going to bring my flap towards me for the Press to Impress. And I pop the card in like that and hold that down with all the dies. I'm going to bring that over. And then with my VersaFine, or I could have used my ink pads, or that dog is having so much fun out there. I'll put it this way, is either the dog out there or it's Gavin with a squeaky toy, because Gavin's out the garden as well. Surprised he doesn't shout up through the window now. Oh, you stop saying that on me. So I'm just re-inking until I've got a nice solid stamp. And you can do it as many times as you want, okay? Just ink it up, and notice I've got some ink there. Because I've put my whole card in there, I just want to make sure that that doesn't go anywhere, because it might do with the pressure I put. But I'll just do that. Okay, and that's that. So there's my H, M and E. And I'm just going to wipe my stamps clean and pop them to the side. Slide my magnet off. And then I've got my card back with me like that. Okay, and then the one thing we do need to do is put that home thing back on like that. Okay, put your finger in the middle, and I'm just taking a pencil very, very, very lightly, getting right underneath the edge of it, getting right under the edge of it, so I've got a rough circle there. Okay, because I've chosen to use this little swirl stamp, which came from the same set that the house came from, and I'm going to use the VersaFine again. So I could do this in colour. That dog's going mad out there. Just literally going to go on the edge of that circle and that. I'm just going around and around so that the pattern is just going off. And just put a gentle pressure. And never be afraid to build a frame from a single individual stamp as well, because you know you can do so much with just the smallest amount of stamps. Okay, and then this Happy New Home stamp that I had, I'm actually going to take my scissors and take the home off the bottom. So now I've got Happy New and Home separate. Okay, and I'm going to actually put the Happy New there, or I could put it over there. Okay, but I quite like it there. So Happy New. Okay, and I'm just going to grab that, and I could have used the Press to Impress again. I'm just going to do it by eye there with a little stamp impress. So Happy New. It's probably one you've already got, Peter. It's the Creative Stamping issue 83, which had the big owl, the hare, and all those ones with the fairies and the trees that Gavin actually used. I think I used the flower in one of them as well. I think Gavin used all sorts of ones off here. There's a nice bumblebee on there as well. So yeah, so that's the one. So Creative Stamping issue 83, and I'm sure you had there. I'm sure you did. Hiya sis, how are you? So that was my Happy New. I've used that little swirl just for that, and I've stamped a little Happy New, and then I've got my little image to go on there. So as you can see then, when you put that over the top there, you get that nice little burst just coming from the outer edge of it. Okay, and if I just put a little bit of all-purpose collal just on the back of that circle there, yeah. Gives you room to slide it off a bit, and then that okay, so you end up with that then. So it actually says Happy New Home. Okay, so think of this as, think of the O or the oval as your O. So you could do joy, love, home, sun as in S-O-N. You know, what else can I do? Joy, home, love, hope. You know, think of your Christmas cards, little Christmas scene inside. Make that a shaker card. Yeah, you might not be able to get it from us, Peter. You probably have to try. You're doing Noel. Oh, that. So don't forget the cards that you've made alongside me today, or if you're going to try doing this again, please, if you're on our Valley Crafters, I think it is, group, please post your photos on there yourself. The letters are stamps, but we are looking to get some dies in as well. They're just uppercase alphabets. You can use a stencil if you go word stencils, you know, alphabet stencils. You could put your stencil down, take your fine line black pen or a pencil, a very sharp pencil, go around the inside of the stencil and then take your fine line black pen and colour them. Okay, so that is literally that. But don't be afraid to use a different colour mirror card. You know, use a pearlescent, use a matte mirror. You know, this is a matte mirror blue. That is a gold. And that is the silver. Okay, and again, doing the backgrounds is so easy with the frame stamps, with that little swirly stamp. I'll just do some. You know, don't be afraid to get in there and do something. You know, have a practice, have a play. Just gonna put that stamp on the edge of that block. Engineers still haven't been, or that they have been for the fall. So you can see I'm just building a frame, but just wanted to show you quickly how you can make frames from all sorts of little stamps, and they end up being very, very pretty. Okay, so don't be afraid. Yeah, it was a popular one, Peter. It was one of the most popular ones we've ever had, and I think we had double the amount of it in as well, that one, because they had made a mistake and sent us double the quantity. And we said, well, we would see how we would go. So unfortunately, I'm not sure, because they've stopped doing the magazines at the moment because of everything that's going on with the COVID, the coronavirus. So we're not even getting deliveries of any of the stamps at the moment. So there may be a few issues that will never come out, because I know one of them was a Christmas one, the last one, so that was a bit of a nightmare, because, well, no, I think it was all British, so it would have been perfect for VE Day, and it didn't happen. Been to your website and you not got it. Like I said, you can try on there, you can have a look. Was it this one you was after? So, Creative Stamping issue 83. Okay, so if I was you, Peter, I'd try online somewhere. There may be an odd company that's still got one or two in stock, but you know, I know we can't get any more of them. But there we are, just from that little swirl you can make a lovely little frame. Okay, so thank you very much for watching today, and obviously you've got some sizes to go to. I will re-jog these sizes for the dies I've used. Okay, and I will turn this little frame over. So the ovals that I used on the Joy card, the largest one was 12 to 12 and a half. The next size down was 11 and a half, and then the smallest one was 9 and a half. and you use the middle size one to cut your white piece of card for doing your image, and the other two you use for your frame. So that was the ovals. In the circles, just so you got your sizes, the largest one was 10.5 to 11 centimeters. The next size down was 9.5, and then the smallest one was 8 to 8.5. So, you know, and again you use the second one from the largest for your white, for cutting on your white, and then the other two to cut your frame. I don't usually get to watch live, but on leave today, really enjoyed it. So I missed my classes. Yes, we've all been saying that we're all missing the classes, Julie. Really missing it. Thank you, Mum. Glad you like it. And they're just little handy cards. And of course, if you've got backing papers, I've got I'm not having to worry about doing that. You're only then worrying about doing your image. So, you know, do the image in the frame, just do a background. It doesn't even have to be that. You don't have to do the letters. You can just put a normal sentiment and a couple of flowers around the frame, you know. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Julie. It is nice, isn't it? Lovely cards as always. Thank you, Dawn. I love this one. Oh, listen.